Hi, it's Michael Away. Welcome to Module 1. In this module, we'll be going over ways to tackle your debts. Knowing what measures you intend to take towards resolving your debts is the first crucial step towards attaining positive results and successfully putting the debts behind you. There are essentially 5 ways you can go about dealing with your debt situation, and they are as follows. You can do nothing about it. Keep feeding the banks. Go with a debt consolidation program. Join the credit counseling or debt management program, or simply settle your debts. Now, let's go over these options individually so you have a better understanding of what they are and how they work. Number 1, which also happens to be the least on my list, is do nothing about it. As we all know, if you do nothing about a situation, you will neither get any positive result out of it, get better, nor is that situation just going to simply go away on its own. That being said, doing nothing about your debt situation will only add stress and frustration to your life, because with the never-ending calls from debt collectors and the piles of collection letters that greets you each time you go to pick up your mail from your mailbox, it will be extremely difficult to go through one single day peacefully and enjoy the things that really matters to you. For example, your family, dinner with friends, or just a peaceful relaxation with a loved one because you're bearing a heavier burden on your shoulders. Unfortunately, when you have so much on your mind, that beautiful smile and excitement you bring when around your friends and loved ones will be completely overshadowed by stress, unhappiness, and depression. Feeding the banks. This is the second option you have available to you. So you can continue to make the minimum payments just to get by each and every month, knowing fully well that it only satisfies the interest on the balance and does not in any way, shape, or form affect or reduce your balance. Statistically, though, people who just make the minimum payments on their credit cards or personal loans each and every month stay in debt for the rest of their lives. Now, let's take a closer look at a real life cycle of a credit card debt. John Smith is making minimum payments on a credit card with a balance of $20,000, an interest rate of 18%. It will take John Smith 18 years to pay off the debt in full. And after the end of the 18th year, the $20,000 credit card would have cost John Smith, guess how much? $68,000. Now, that's something to think about, isn't it? Well, here is something else to think about. Did you know that when you're late on the payment on one of your credit cards, that your other lenders or credit card issuers can and will automatically increase your interest rate and reduce your credit limit on theirs? Well, that's true. It's called universal default. This is one of the many gimmicks the major credit card companies and lenders play on consumers as an extra avenue to make millions of dollars, aside from late fees and the over limit fees they charge on a monthly basis. So you could have an annual interest rate of 6% on all your credit cards and loans, but if you fall behind on just one of them, your interest rate would skyrocket from 6% to up to 29.99% in a matter of 30 days. Debt consolidation. Debt consolidation involves taking out one loan to pay off many others. A lot of times it is done to either secure a lower interest rate, a fixed rate, or just for the convenience of paying towards one single loan. Debt consolidation can also be from a number of unsecured loans into another unsecured loan, but more often than not, it involves a secured loan against an asset that serves as collateral. Most commonly, that collateral is a house. In this case, when you use your house as collateral to secure a consolidated loan, you agree to allow a forced sale or foreclosure of that property to pay back the loan in the event that you default on it. So what you're basically doing here is exchanging several smaller debts for one big debt, which is attached to your home. Well, you're still in debt, only this time you have a whole lot more on the line. Credit counseling or debt management programs. What is a credit counseling or debt management program? It's a process that helps educate consumers on how to manage their debts and avoid incurring additional debts that cannot be repaid by establishing what they call an effective debt management plan and budget. In other words, they advise you on how to manage your money and how to manage your debt by helping you develop a budget. But how successful is this program? In my opinion, appalling. Because study shows the majority of the consumers that enroll in the credit counseling program come out with little or no success whatsoever. But why is that, you may ask? Well, the answer to that question lies in the advantages and disadvantages of the program. So let's take a look at the advantages and the disadvantages of the debt management program, starting with the advantages. Unfortunately, there's only one advantage to being in a debt management program, and that is that the creditors offer you what they call a concession rate. Concession rates are exactly what it sounds like. Concession, which in other words means agreement. The creditors agree to lower your interest rate and reduce fees so that the monthly payment obligations required can be met. Frequently, the monthly payments are reduced by about a third of what you were paying before. Now, let's take a look at the disadvantages of a debt management program. Number one, the credit counselors have to adhere to the terms and conditions set by the creditors. So, the terms of the program is strictly dictated by the creditors. You have no control whatsoever on how the process goes. There is a qualification process. The credit counselors will review your debts and evaluate your budget to see if you're even a fit for the program. So the fact that they have such a program available out there to you and that you have debts you need help with does not necessarily mean you could be a part of the program. In other words, it's not everyone that has debts that qualifies for the debt management program. Next, the debt management program is less effective for those who already have low interest rates on their credit cards. Why? Because, like we explained earlier, the only advantage to the debt management program is that they offer you the concession rate. And that's it. Next, all you're doing being a part of a debt management program is you make a large payment to them and they distribute it to your creditors. But hold on. How is that different from what you were doing in the first place before you got into this debt situation? It's not. Next, the debt management program typically takes 5 years to complete. So the question is, what happens if you lose your job, say 1 to 2 years into the program? Well, unfortunately, the answer to that question is you are on your own, because the terms and conditions of the program states the funds has to be readily available to enable the counselors distribute payments to your creditors. So if the funds are not available, then there's no funds to be distributed to your creditors, and you cannot be a part of the program, which also automatically cancels the concession rate that was offered to you. Next, you are still repaying 100% of the debt. The debt management program does not affect your FICO score, but it shows up on your credit bureau report. And now, the last but not the least, most creditors sees being a part of a debt management program the same as filing for Chapter 13 bankruptcy, because to them, you're using the services of others to help you manage and pay your debts. As you can see, the disadvantages of being in a debt management program clearly outweighs the advantages, which explains the low success rate of that program. Next, my favorite option, which also happens to be my area of expertise, debt settlement. What is debt settlement? Debt settlement is a process of repaying a debt where the creditors agree to accept less than the amount owed on the debt, thereby forgiving the rest of the balance. Now, let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of debt settlement, starting this time with the disadvantages. Fortunately, there's only one disadvantage to debt settlement, and that is that the creditors who agree to accept less than the amount you actually owe them may not extend any credit opportunity to you in the nearest future. But I think that is actually an advantage to you, because the reason why you bought this course, or that you're listening to me right now, is so that you can turn things around and start living a peaceful and debt free life. Now, let's look at the advantages of debt settlement. There are several advantages in the ability to settle your debt, some of which are: 1. You'll be paying a fraction of the amount owed, compared to the debt management program where you'll be paying 100% of what you owe on that debt. Or if you're making minimum payments on your credit cards, you'll be paying 3 times the amount that you owe. Secondly, you can make payments on a settlement. So if you call your creditors and you offer a settlement, you can actually make payments towards that settlement. And you can make up to 24 months of payments on a particular settlement. 3. It is reported on your credit bureau report as paid less than amount owed. That's way better than late payment, way better than collections, and absolutely way better than bankruptcy. Number 4, your FICO score increases or is updated within 60 to 90 days after the settlement payment posts to your account. And number 5, you completely put the debt behind you and give yourself peace of mind. And trust me, there's absolutely nothing like it. As you can see, the best option, bar none, is to settle your debts. You control how fast or slow you want to get rid of a debt and put them behind you. And you also dictate how much you can and want to pay on the debt. In the next module, we'll be going over the differences between a secured and unsecured credit card or loan. This is crucial because the type of credit card or loan you have will determine if a creditor will be willing to accept a settlement or not. And that is coming up next.